Where am I?
You're in Toronto. You've been selected to be a host of Line 1 TV. Do you know what Line 1 TV is?
Yes, I do know. I'm gonna be a host. I am a host.
Excellent. Elmer, she's ready to be pulled from the void.
Hello, Francesca here. So we're about to go in to go see Harkness at the Monarch, and I'm pretty excited. I wanna see what this all is about and get a vibe. So yeah, about to go in. Hi Harkness, so nice to have you with us today.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. I went to the show on Sunday. It was so exciting. We were talking with the other person that was with me from OKU Live. It felt very special. And I wanted to ask you about how you felt that day, especially with having all this like very lovely audience present. Like, I don't know, just like if you could share a little bit about that.
I think it really was after the long journey that it was with Maria, especially, the two of us finally having a night to celebrate together, the film and my music, and I was releasing an album and having the shows. Especially by that second show, it was like the cork blasting off a champagne, 1,000,000%. It's the moment I got on stage for that second show, I felt like I was above the clouds. That something just kind of was carrying me through in the most ecstasy, blissful kind of vibe. And I just felt it from note one to the last note, and the vibes from the crowd. It felt like they were feeling it too. It was so much fun and so effortless, and the love, it was just couldn't have asked for more. It's funny, when we played in New York and I had 0 people there, it was one of the best shows I've done. That's how I felt. I kicked major ass to nobody. I felt so into the music, and I was almost saying, how dare you miss this?
Harkness just happened to be honest, one of my very first friends. Somehow, you know, I think there was definitely some serendipity in us meeting, and we always love to joke about it, you know. I came to Canada to go to film school, and of course, as many of us do, I got a side job at our local restaurant, and Harkness was working there as a server, and then, you know, it happens, like refilling ketchup ramekins, you know, like what do you do? And then I think it was just that mutual recognition of some sort of artistic, not necessarily talent right away, but you sometimes you just have that energy matched artistic energy or something that I think we recognized in each other. And soon enough, you know, he was showing me his studio, and I was just absolutely amazed how much this human managed to pull off nothing. He managed to create a really like incredible studio, you know, like is it industry standard? Maybe not, but at the same time, like the quality of the music he managed to self-produce and record and mix is incredible. And to see that ingenuity in action is what I think told me, like, I have to show the world what humans are capable of with nothing.
I also wanted to ask you if you can tell me a little bit about the experience of revisiting your life in this way. Especially, I was super amazed about all the archival material that the documentary has.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a pleasure, and I got to watch it sitting beside Maria. And so there's the archival stuff, but there's so much that the two of us experienced together, and we were the only ones there for so much of it, just the two of us. So it was a personal energy that we got to really go go through a big part of our life that got was so intimate, but on the screen. So I think that was the most fun, was being with the only person who really was there too, and going, oh my God, we did that together. We went to New York, and reliving it was incredibly magical and emotional. I was bawling for half of it in the cinema. And some of that was due to her gosh darn editing and what she did with the darker parts, and about my dad and what I went through. It was just like, I ran out of Kleenex. I was asking people around, anyone have any Kleenex? It was very emotional to watch all that stuff, because it had the nuances of the music and the editing and the timing, and it really hit me hard watching it, for sure.
But Harkness' mother is so present throughout the film, but at the same time, we don't get those interview moments that maybe we have with the siblings or other characters of the film.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious about, why don't we have those sitting down moments? Like, why make that choice? I saw her as a huge supporter.
Yeah.
Like, this all happens. And even Harkness says so when it's her birthday, like, this can all happen because she supports him. So,
of course I wanted her in an interview, and of course I wanted her to answer all my questions, and we did that. But unfortunately, you know, with documentary film, you don't get all your wishes come true. So as a matter of fact, only 5% of what you plan is gonna happen. The 95 is, you know, take what you know, beggars can be choosers kind of thing. So, but yeah, no, we did multiple attempts, and she's just one of the, like, she's just very, I think she would always go into her head, and whether it's the, you know, the age, or maybe feeling the pressure, like she has to perform because it's this film about her son and CBC is backing it up, and she just, like, she would almost like lose that charm, the natural and like energy of her, like just being put in an armchair in front of a camera and like look at the camera and answer my question. It just wasn't her medium. Like, she just couldn't shine in those conditions at all, to the point where I felt like, yeah, I'll just really, like, sometimes all you gotta do is like give people enough to then build the rest in their head. With documentary, I think sometimes, you know, you just have to follow the lead, like where the character takes you or the story takes you. Like, you might want to make this like hi-fi Hollywood production, you know, polished look, everything. But if the story doesn't take you there, and I think it happens with documentaries more often than with feature films, you know, if the story doesn't take you, don't like force it there. You know, like allow it to take you where it wants to take you as well.
There's something in the movie that I thought was gonna get developed and I never got to see, that it's like certain gestures that you do both in the show and throughout the documentary, which is, for example, this gesture that is like something that keeps like popping up.
I call it the H pose for, I think a lot of what all of us artists do have many layers to it, right? There's a final middle to the onion that maybe I'll say, maybe I won't, but I'll start by saying that it was actually invented when I started this psychedelic cooking show that I was doing. And the H pose was like, we did this reverse bow, and if Harkness, there's like a visor, and it creates an H, but H is also for harmony, and harmony being every note on the piano is welcome, every color, every race, every sex, every feeling of sex, everything, everybody, every belief, everything that ever was, harmony. This is the one place where everything is welcome. That's definitely what safety for all, welcome all. That's what it feels like. There's one more layer to it that is the deepest for me. And that we'll go do another time.
Yeah, so there is that deeper aspect to his music and his art and drawings and the H pose and all that stuff, that I think, you know, I could have touched on it in the film maybe deeper than what we did with the psychosis montage, but Yeah, that one was hard because it was hard to communicate it properly without it taking over some of the storyline, and so it felt always like I couldn't do it right. I wouldn't do it justice or something. Yeah, so that's the one that I feel like we never truly explored. And I would always tell him, like maybe the film will give some of the traction to what you do, and then you can take that, you can own that narrative, and you can bring it to the public, and you can talk about it on your own terms. And I still don't believe him when he says that, like, oh, I spoke to you for 5 minutes and I could see that you're the next Tarkovsky. Like, he says shit like that, and it's like I don't know why, I still don't believe him, whatever. But he built such confidence in me. I don't know.
Okay.
He just has that way, and gradually, I feel like by the time we got to that place of, whoa, I feel like he talked me into the feeling like I'm capable of making a feature film. I feel like he made me believe in that, So, and then I feel like it just happened to me. Yeah, I was having fun, and suddenly I applied. It was COVID. And Documentary Institute of Canada has this breakthrough program for emerging filmmakers, and then they had all this material that we filmed here and there for like smaller exercises or music videos or something. And I always knew that this is the story that fascinates me, and it's gotta fascinate other people too if I were to take it seriously. And so I put together a little thing and I submitted it to Breakthrough and got in. And then from there it was like, whoa, like the door opened. I'm just gonna go all the way, because if you're gonna do something, you might as well just give it all. And I remember like turning down jobs and stuff because like, no, I'm gonna be working on this feature film about Harkness. Like I was sitting there like with no money, I was like, no, but any day now someone's gonna finance this movie, and so I shouldn't be taking any jobs. And then it just, thank God, that was stupid, wasn't it? Like, but for some reason, it just felt like this is happening. I'm gonna give this my everything because I really believe in this project and in my friend and what he does, and it happened. I don't know.
But I was really curious on why hot sauce? I understand why did you start. That is explained in the film. I never understood why hot sauce as the thing that accompanies your merch and your shows.
Yeah, well, part of the whole thing is that unfortunately, due to our modern society, people aren't really supporting artists very well to begin with, and they're not buying music. They're signing up for Spotify, and this Spotify company, they're all billionaires, these 4 guys, and we get fractions of cents on a spin. It's somebody repairs your shoes, does your plumbing, repairs your car. They're getting paid an honest wage. We're not getting paid any honest wages whatsoever, unless you break through like Taylor Swift, and some do, and you get a great living. But the majority of just simple artists who want to create and make a living, it's virtually impossible the way Spotify and others came in and did what they did. Good for them, but it really left us hurting. So if you're an artist and you come to town, it's also difficult to make money when you're playing shows too, with expenses. So I needed something physical for people to buy. I needed revenue, something to build revenue to live on. Not that it's really doing it, but people are buying the hot sauce. I sold 28 bottles at the show. This is really good. But I'm a food lover. I love spicy food. And I always wanted to create a hot sauce that was almost like more of a condiment, less of a 2 drops and like, whoa, more like you could slather, you could drink it from a bottle. It's a tasty, yummy, hot sauce. And I love it so much, and I thought I would just concentrate on something I love, do the best. It took me about 5-6 years to develop the recipe. Hundreds of batches and tasting my families and things like that. But I also have a jerk marinade that is dynamite, and a pesto recipe too. Those are forthcoming
Okay. Would you like to share with us like anyone you would like to thank?
If I list everyone, you know, we're going to be here all day. But I think, of course, first of all, the one person that, you know, both Harkness and I are forever grateful to is Ed Bereveld of Storyline Entertainment. He was the producer on the film, he was the producer who found me through the Breakthrough program. He came in and I showed him the trailer and I did my little pitch, you know, and he's like, let's do this. I want to produce this film. It's incredible. And I was like, are you sure? Like, you know, because it was my first film, you know, I haven't made any films before. And just for him to have such a faith in me and Harkness and our vision, he requested no creative control. He was like, so he was like, you know what, this is your story, it's your baby. I'm here to support you. You take the lead. It was unbelievable. Like, do you hear stories like that? No, it's never like that. So I don't know. I got unbelievably lucky that that's the person who chose to support my film and me and Harkness. So thank you, Ed. And of course, other than that, it was just so many people, incredibly accomplished people in the industry who stepped forward, whether it's cinematographers or editors, who gave me advice and kind of treated me as an equal. It was never felt patronized and never felt like people were looking down on me. It was really, truly incredible. And then if you think of like all the funding we received from like CBC and Hot Dog Slave Family Fund and Rogers Fund, it's just, you know, thank you. Really felt like some sort of story that should never happen.
For all the music lovers out there, I've just released Chow to the Beauty, my second album. Tons of colorful music, lots of crazy sounds and vocal harmony throughout. Please give it a listen and support local artists.
Thank you so much for visiting us today, Harkness.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
You can catch the movie Harkness on CBC Gem now.
Do it.